Today, we're jumping into a really beautiful song by Alison McLean called We Already Belong. And it's one of those songs that's built around a single, powerful idea that kind of makes you stop and think. So let's unpack it together.
Right out of the gate, the song hits you with this line. It's a bit of a puzzle, right? But it's also the solution. This is the central tension we're going to explore. This whole struggle between trying to be somebody versus realizing we're already someone.
At its core, this whole thing is about that search for belonging that we all feel. You know, that constant, sometimes exhausting effort to just fit in, to find our place. But the song asks a really important question. What if we've been looking for it in all the wrong places?
And this is where we get this brilliant metaphor. The song tells us to forget about trying to play a part in someone else's orchestra. Instead, it says we are the conductor of our own symphony. We're the ones in control of the music, the rhythm, our whole sense of self. It's all about taking charge.
Okay, so let's get back to that key difference. Somebody versus someone. This isn't just clever wordplay. You know, the lyrics are presenting this as a huge, fundamental choice we make about how we see ourselves.
So the song really lays out these two completely different paths. On one side, you have being somebody, which is all about performing for others, seeking that approval. And on the other side, you have being someone, which is this internal state that comes from self-worth. Let's dig into what each of those really means.
Trying to be somebody? Well, that's a performance. It's an act we put on for an audience, whether it's our friends, family, or just society in general. It's all about getting those likes, getting that approval, and trying to squeeze ourselves into a mold that we think other people want. And honestly, it's draining.
But being someone, that's a whole different story. It's an inside job. It doesn't need an audience because it's not a show. It's all rooted in our own inherent self-worth. It's about finally embracing the unique, authentic person you already are. No outside validation needed. It's a state of being, not doing.
So if this choice seems so obvious, why is it so hard? Well, the lyrics suggest that the reason we chase being somebody isn't because of the outside world. The real battle, that's a war we're fighting inside ourselves.
And this line, this is the turning point. It's so simple, but so profound. The song is telling us that this whole conflict only exists because we are the ones fighting it. The power to end the war, it's completely in our hands.
So let's define what this war really is. It's that constant tug of war between our authentic self, our real symphony, and all the limits, the rules, and the expectations we put on ourselves. These are the chains we create that keep us from feeling like we belong.
And here's where the song gives us a little dose of tough love. The lyrics basically say we created these constraints, so we can't blame anyone else. It's a radical call to take responsibility. The cages we feel trapped in, yeah, we built them. We can't point fingers, we gotta look inward.
But that message isn't supposed to be a downer. It's actually incredibly empowering. Because think about it. If we created the constraints, that means we also hold the key to unlock them.
So here's the absolute heart of it. Freedom isn't some destination you find out there in the world. According to this song, freedom is an action. It's the conscious act of letting go of all those self-imposed rules and expectations.
So how do we actually do that? Well, the song gives us this beautiful, almost poetic guide. First, you've got to recognize the constraints you've put on yourself. Second, you make a choice to stop that internal war. Third, you let the music, your authentic self, play through. And finally, you just dance to your own beat. You live it.
And boom, we're right back to that central metaphor. Following these steps, that is how you become the conductor of your own symphony. You're not just some musician in the back anymore. You're the one leading the whole show.
And when we actually do this, when we release our own constraints and start conducting our own symphony, we finally get to the song's ultimate, beautiful conclusion.
So what happens when the war is finally over? Life gives us a makeover. But we're not talking about a superficial change here. This is a deep, fundamental transformation in how we see ourselves and our place in the world. We don't become someone new. We just finally become who we were all along.
And there it is, the title of the song and its entire thesis. This search is over because, well, it was never necessary in the first place. All that validation we were looking for out there was already inside us. We already belong.
So, the single biggest takeaway from this whole lyrical journey is this. We treat belonging like it's a destination, a club we have to join, a goal we have to achieve. But this song just flips that whole idea on its head. Belonging isn't something you earned.
It's a fundamental reality of who you are that you just have to accept. And that leaves us with one last, really big question to chew on. If you actually stopped trying to belong and just accepted that you already do, what would change for you? What kind of energy would that free up? What would you do?